So look, this is the digital reader, and I know that I'm pretty much the only one who really knows what books I've read over the last 50 years. But I'm trying to broaden my horizons. I mean, I read a surprising amount of books in January that weren't in my wheelhouse, but I just wanted to give them a try. And one thing I definitely want to get more into is mystery and detective books. Um, the reason why I kind of call it my dirty little secret is when it comes to TV and movies, I love mystery and detective TV shows. Love them, love them, love them. As a matter of fact, I subscribe to BritBox and Acorn TV mainly because of all of the detective and mystery shows that they have. And my whole life, I have loved detective and mystery series. Columbo is just one of my all-time faves. I've probably watched the whole Columbo series about 10 times over my life. Just loved Columbo. But I can't get into mystery detective books. I don't know, I mean, I've only done it with two series, or two, and the first one I had a real negative reaction to, and that was The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. When I tried to read that, it was just so dry and so boring. I was just amazed that he became this mythological figure based off these books. Sometimes I'll read older books and they will really resonate with human emotions that I can see relevant today. I just couldn't get into that book, and I was just like, oh, I'll just watch TV shows from now on. But the other mystery book and series that I did enjoy was I enjoyed the Easy Rawlins Detective series by Walter Mosley. But even with that one, I really enjoyed the first three books, but then after that, I just felt like he kind of went off the rails. It kind of felt like in the first three books, he got to tell the story he wanted to tell, but because the first three books were so popular, he kind of wrote more books and kind of just branched out of the story, and I just felt like you're just kind of padding it, dude. The first three books told me what I needed to know about that character and that world, and you're just kind of padding it. So that was it for me. But, you know, over the years, I've still continued to love mystery and detective TV shows and movies. And the irony is, I know a lot of those detective shows and mystery thrillers are based off of books. Many of them. But I just never really read those books, mainly just because of maybe laziness. I knew it was going to come out on TV or something like that. But now that I'm trying to watch less TV, I do want to make an effort to to read some mysteries and some detective thrillers. So I'm definitely asking for your help. And what you can do to help me is just simply recommend some good mysteries and some good detective stories. I've kind of been looking around as to things that might interest me, and I found two books that I bought in January that I'm going to be reading in February. Two books that I bought. One is called A Rage in Harlem by Chester Himes. This is the book right here. And this is in a series called the Harlem Detective series. I knew that book was out there, but I had never read it. They've actually, I believe, made a couple of movies from that series. And I know that when I was super young, my older brother and his friends, they actually snuck me into one of the the Harlem Detective books made into a movie called Cotton Comes to Harlem. So I'm going to read Rage in Harlem, see how I feel about it, mainly because I did like the Easy Rawlins, the first three books, and so I feel like, you know, a black city detective, you know, if that's what Rage in Harlem is about, then that might be in my wheelhouse because I did like Easy Rawlins. The other book I'm going to be reading is A Study in Scarlet Women. and it's right here. Studying Scarlet Women. I I could not get into Sherlock Holmes the book, the original book, but I love the Sherlock Holmes mythos. I've watched. I love the Sherlock Holmes, the Sherlock series that was on Netflix, and the BBC and on PBS. It's the same series, but it was on all three of those networks at different times. I love the TV series with Lucy Liu, and I believe his name is Johnny Williams, called Elementary. So I like the Sherlock Holmes mythos. So anything that came out movie, TV wise with Sherlock Holmes, I was ready to watch. So this book called A Study in Scarlet Women, it's a different take on Sherlock Holmes, where he is she is a woman in Victorian times doing the whole Sherlock Holmes thing. And I'm hoping that because it's a more modern book, it'll have a more modern voice as far as the writing, and maybe I can get into it more. As far as a female detective in Victorian times, I'm a huge fan of the current series, Miss Scarlet and the Duke, which is on Masterpiece Theater. I'm a huge fan of Miss Scarlet and the Duke, which is on the Masterpiece Theater streaming service, and of course I guess on PBS. I love that series. So this kind of, I hope it'll have that kind of vibe, where it's this female detective in the 1900s, and just her being a female detective is like this shocking new thing. So I figure I'm gonna go ahead and give that a try. So in the description, of course, I've linked all the books I just talked about, but also I've linked all the TV shows that I've really liked. So if you are going to recommend me a book, that way you can kind of say, oh, these are the kind of shows he likes. I didn't mention Columbo because, let's be honest, who doesn't love Columbo? So I guess I'll see what happens, see if I get any recommendations. And then at the end of February, hopefully I'll have some feelings about A Study in Scarlet Women and A Rage in Harlem, and it'll let me know, if mysteries and detective books are something that I'm kind of now in a mood to read. And I know a lot about books are basically just how good the book is. And so even if they aren't, I'm still going to continue to try mysteries and detective stories, just so I can find something that's going to be a fit for me, and it'll maybe grow. So anyway, if you have suggestions, put them in the comments below. This is a 480 Digital Reader, and keep reading.